Hello, and welcome to what will be the first of probably many videos that I'm going to do on F1 2021. Downloaded the game a couple days ago, had it on pre-order, and yeah, I've already been messing around with it a little bit, just sort of getting the handle of it, getting my settings all set up, and all that. So it's been interesting so far. Excuse me. One thing I decided to do is that, so for those of you who are unfamiliar, the game does not come with the new tracks on the calendar. Well, I guess not all of them new, but some of them old, some of them new that they brought in due to the pandemic, which in this case for 2021 would be Portimao. I was blanking for some reason, but Portimao, Portugal, Imola in Italy, and then the new Grand Prix circuit in Saudi Arabia. Now, we know it's coming out as a DLC, a post-launch DLC, but we don't know when that exactly is coming out, specifically. So what my plan here is going to be early. Is I'm going to try to stall a little bit and wait and see if we hear when that stuff's coming out, because I would like to play those tracks for My Team Career Mode. But honestly, we don't have them yet. So I figure I stall for time by doing some other things. And one thing I didn't do, I don't think I did videos of, that I did do before jumping into My Team Career Mode on F1 2020 was play a full F2 season. Mainly just to get the hang of the game, get the hang of some of the tracks, unlock some stuff with my results. You get experience, and then obviously allows you to unlock certain things. So yeah, I'm going to be doing a full F2 season. Now I'm doing it through the context of the driver career, which is the normal career mode, where you would do, if you want to, you would do a full F2 season and then just move on to one of the already pre-existing teams. Obviously I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to play through the F2 championship. I will, go all the way to the end. And then I guess I will pick a team for the start of the F1 portion of the normal career mode, but I won't actually do that. Hopefully by then we'll have some news on that DLC. And then I'm also going to try to play the Breaking Point story. So I'll be doing it after this, and then hopefully by then we will either have the tracks or have news on when those tracks will be coming out. So, without further ado, I signed up to play as Campos Racing. Teammate is Jack Aitken. I'm just trying to remember if we had... Okay, yeah, we do have the practice programs. I didn't realize we had that for F2. But that's okay. I can go through it. Not a problem. It's only a short practice session, so it's not a long one. And it's just good to just get used to the tracks again, used to the new handling model for this year's game, and just sort of just help get my feet wet.
Give us some consistent laps, please. We're looking for good data that we can work into the race strategy.
This is the race strategy program. Probably could have made that turn a little better. Now, the actual distance of the races, I selected the basically the I guess the arcade version, or I guess the short version, which is just a 5-lap feature and a 3-lap sprint. The corner always gets me. First time out. That's a better run through there. Guess we're just gonna do whatever gets us to purple, which is lap lap 50, not lap 50, what am I talking about? 50 points, I should say.
Okay, super job so far. We're getting great data. Stay focused.
That's a better run through there that time. Yeah, two big features of the game, at least in terms of the handling, firstly, is that the curbs are a lot more unforgiving. At least from what I've experienced so far. Certain corners you really, and certain tracks, you really don't want to run over them. And then secondly, something I noticed is that there's certain high-speed corners, the car will tend to, I guess it varies depending on the corner, the car will tend to want to drift wide. I guess the best example I can give is I did some time trials at Austria. And I noticed that going through the second to last corner on F1 2020, I could just take that corner pretty much flat out. Now I do have, I do play with steering assist on, but even with steering assist, I can take that corner flat out. Well, in F1 2021, I can't really do that. It's not really it's just not something I can do. So it requires me to actually do some more braking, which again, at least for that particular track in Austria, the Red Bull Ring, It's weird, because I'm pretty sure in real life that corner is a flat-out corner. That shouldn't, require any sort of braking. But what are you gonna do? Also, no rich mix in F1 2021, so that's something that we lose in this year's game. And I noticed I did some practice races, and I noticed very quickly that that's going to have a major impact on race starts. At least the ones I've done so far. Just playing a couple short races, doing manual starts. Very hard time getting off the line.
Okay, super job so far. We're getting great data. Stay focused.
One thing I discovered is that I could, even though I don't have rich mix, I can still use, what's it called? I lost my train of thought. What was I even talking about? Steering. Oh, that's really embarrassing. I was going in a destination and I completely forgot what I was talking about.
This test is all about tyre management. Trying to control the slip through each corner. Take extra care putting the power down at the apex.
Oh, it was the freaking ERS, of course, ERS deployment. I noticed that the ERS helps me with my starts in terms of getting better off the line. I'm still experiencing an issue where more often than not, it feels like I lose out. Or if it's like, no matter what, I'm going to lose out on the initial getaway. The race start. So that's something that we're going to have to deal with, unfortunately. So we'll see how that impacts us from racetrack to racetrack, I guess. So our tire wear test is not going very well at all. To be fair, these are already worn tires, so maybe I should have done this test first. But, I mean, in reality, it doesn't really matter. I mean, I'm doing freaking a feature race and a sprint race with no pit stops. So for me, it's more just about getting the laps in. I just want to check something. The settings. Yep, and I have it set at 77 difficulty, so hard, but not too hard.
It is good. The tyre wear that lap was quite severe.
Yeah, but it doesn't really matter. So yeah, like I said, I think we're gonna have to figure out how to handle starts. Have to be more careful around certain corners. I have to deal with having no ridge mix.
In this program, we want you to focus on fuel-saving technique. Lift and coast through corner entry to save as much as you can while keeping under the minimum lap time.
In terms of my team career mode, once I get to it, I still have not decided on whether or not to use the legends. I'm leaning towards not. Maybe at first, I think I could be wrong, but I think the way the setting works in the game, once you start a My Team career mode, is that you can turn them on during your career mode, but once you turn them on, you can't turn them off. It's basically how I understand it. And additionally, I believe I also saw this, that your team is the only team that could sign the legend drivers. So I think, like, if you wanted to sign Michael Schumacher, for example, like, he's not somebody who's available to everyone. You are the only team who can sign him and yeah, and use him in your team. So, which I think that's fine. If that's the case, I got no problems with that. So I can see from a more, I guess, realistic standpoint, you know, unless your new team had tons of backing behind it, it wouldn't necessarily attract someone like a Nico Rosberg, for example. If he were to theoretically come out of retirement and race in F1 again.
Okay, test complete, and that was a very good job indeed. We got a lot of valuable information out of that.
Yeah, I was hoping honestly to do at least 2 or 3 races, but I forgot that I did the practices, so I think for future maybe depending on how long this one takes. I'm a little off against the clock because I know I've got AEW Dynamite coming up in about 45 minutes or so.
An interesting practice session there then. Let's remind ourselves of the top 3, which are Acampos, Sonoda and Guan Yu Zhou. That concludes an...
So to qualifying, and then the feature race, and then the sprint race. Yep, and you can see feature race 5 laps, sprint race 3 laps. Yeah, so maybe in the future, when it's less time sensitive, I can cram 2 races in one video. And I totally forgot the fact that I have practice. Huh. I thought I changed my number to 94, but I guess not. Number 10, which... That's not too bad. I can handle it. I can live with that. Nice and easy through those corners. Get a little bit more brake here. And I'm only going to talk now because I'm a little ahead of Sonoda for pole at this rate, but once they add those new circuits, it'll be very interesting to see what you can do in My Team in terms of customizing your calendar. Because China is in the game, even though China's in the game, even though it's not on the calendar in 2021, obviously due to COVID. I believe that's because it's featured in the Breaking Point story mode. But with the 3 tracks that they're going to add, that's going to add up to 24 tracks, I want to say.
Okay, good job, mate. Really well done. That was a fantastic drive.
And obviously, you know, last year in F1 2020, the calendar was only 22 races, and this year was intending to be 23, so in theory that would leave a track
As we
out
wind
of the
down from the
picture.
excitement of qualifying, here's a look at your top 3. Campos, Tsunoda and Mick Schumacher. Goodbye for now then, but we really are just getting started. Make sure you join us again.
So yeah, I'm sort of interested to see how that works out. And if you do have the option to create a totally customizable calendar, as I go to up the difficulty a little bit, I'll leave it at 78. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see whether they allow you to do that, and if they do allow you to sort of pick and choose, what race gets left out. I mean, I know for sure which race I would leave out, but
Welcome to Sakir and the Bahrain International Circuit, where the grid is forming up ready for today's race. Plenty of opportunities around the 3.36 miles of the Bahrain International Circuit for these young F2 drivers to show what they can do. The best passing opportunity right up there at turn 1, and we should see plenty of action there. But there's another not long after at turn 4. There are 9 right-handers, 6 left-handers, and the possibility that we could see some flat spots at the tightest of those left-handers. That's turn 10. Davide, you're a 3-time winner around here in 1 week, I believe, back in 2012. How on earth do you make the tyres last around this racetrack? They degrade so quickly.
To be honest, the key to the race is having a good start so you can get your car into a good position. Then save the tires as much as you can and push just at the end.
We're almost ready to go then, and this is what the starting grid looks like for today's race. It's Campos in pole position then, and it's Yuki Tsunoda in P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Schumacher, Deruvala, Pedro Piquet and Schwartzman, Ticktum, Joe, Eilert, Christian Lundgaard, Aitken, Giotto, Marino Sato and Dragovic, Armstrong, Zani, Alesi and Nobuharu Matsushita, Mazepin, Markelov, Delatraz and Sean Galeo completes the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
Pole position. Let's go for the win.
all right. Let's see car setup. Just the whole thing. You'll see what I mean here on the start. And yep, we do not get going at all. Who's first? Gonna go 4 wide. I think I made a little bit of contact with Schumacher. But I guess in terms of the calendar, as I was mentioning, I mean, I haven't driven the Saudi Arabia track. Obviously, nobody has really. We really haven't seen a true mock-up of what it might look like. I think F1 probably released one when it first got announced, but in terms of like putting circuits on the chopping block, that would definitely be one for sure. But I would not like to play, so that would be a pretty easy choice. I think it would be an easy choice for a lot of other people too. In terms of what the other circuit would be, if it's limited to 22, it's a lot harder. If it's 23, then, you know, no big deal. You just cut Saudi Arabia. But if it's 22, that's a much more interesting proposition in terms of what you drop in the calendar. It's a hard choice for me, trying to just think through, just racking my brain, trying to think of one that I would drop. Or maybe I would do a thing where I would rotate one of the circuits in and out. Or maybe just to keep things interesting, I can include Saudi Arabia, and then just, if you're able to change, because I'm pretty sure, you know, in the last game you could change, you know, between seasons, like whether you want to do a full season or a season with like 16 races, or see a much shorter season than that even. So I think it'd be pretty cool to sort of just go in and again, I don't know if we're going to be able to do this, but if we can do it, we've said, okay, if our My Team Career Mode season's loaded into 22 races, for example.
That was the fastest lap of the race. Keep this up.
I think the way it works is that you start out with 20 in the first season, and if for whatever reason you don't get China until the second season, it's weird how that works. Yeah, so like, it's like, if you can add, you know, limits 22, you know, add or subtract any circuit you want, it would definitely add some variety to the calendar every year, having 2 races that are freshened up, and which races would be in that rotation. So I would have to figure out, okay, which races do I think would be like tracks I don't like that would be easiest to rotate out, or the races that would make sense to rotate out. Obviously stuff like Jeddah Street Circuit and Portimao and Imola would be options. Though it might depend. If I like driving Portimao and Imola, I might want to keep them on the calendar permanently. Certainly Portimao would be the biggest contender for that. I guess Spain could be a track that's on the sort of that rotation.
Between you and the car behind by a few seconds per lap.
China could be on that rotation, I think. So yeah, it's interesting to see how they handle that. But meanwhile, you know, while this race is happening, we have pulled away. over 7 seconds ahead of Mick Schumacher in second. Now, if I'm as dominant in this race as I am at other tracks, it's going to be interesting because, of course, with F2, you have the inversion with, I believe, the top 8. And you also have the fact that, as we saw at the start of this race, my starts are not good, and especially with F2, because there's no ERS to use. So, I'm going to be going into it knowing I'm going to be losing spots at the jump. And then from there, it's going to be, okay, how much can I make up before I get to the finish? I'm dealing with short time, since it's only 3 laps.
Good job. That was the fastest lap of the race so far.
I've really pulled out a gap here. And I honestly don't remember if it was this easy at Bahrain in F1 2020 on the F2 Championship. Maybe it was, because again, that was, at this point, that was a year ago. So I just might not remember, honestly. I'm happy that Mick Schumacher is going to get a podium. Got no problems with that. Just a casual stroll around the Bahrain International Circuit. Come around the final corner. We're going to cruise to victory in the feature race. Woo!
Fantastic.
Oh, and that's new. We have a victory radio call.
An incredible win.
Yeah, there
for
we
Campos.
go.
Brilliant performance. And I have to wonder, Davide Valsecchi, just what set them apart from the competition here.
I think they kept a cool head. That's why they won today. Smooth, steady, everything bad that happened to them, they handled it calmly and professionally. That's what let them focus on getting the best out of everything else. The car, the strategy, they managed to keep out of trouble the whole way around.
I can see them on their way out to the podium now. Campos have come a really long way in this sport, and what a special race this was to see them earn the top spot.
So joined on the podium by Mick Schumacher and Yuki Tsunoda. Yuki Tsunoda, not Niki Tsunoda.
And now, let's take a look at the driver's stand. Our current points leader extends their lead at the top of the championship after a very good result here today. And so, driver of the day then, Davide Valsecchi, who do you think you'd go for?
Ah, it's got to be Artem Markelov. He was fast, decisive, everything you want from a top-class driver.
And here's how things are shaping up in the Teams Championship. Campos at the table. After all this drama, you'd be mad not to join us for the next race. We hope to see you there. Take care.
Alright, so there's your results for the first race. And let's go to the sprint.
We've reversed the top 8 from yesterday's race to set the grid for the sprint race here today, and the drivers are almost ready on the grid down below. Davide, is there anything we should be looking for in today's race? The teams are all very competitive at the moment, so are we about to witness a push from anyone in particular?
Hi, Alex. The team will have been studying everyone else out there very carefully. So I think we are in for a very interesting event today. I can't wait to see how this race unfolds.
Now that we've got some points on the board, let's continue this form and aim for another top 10 finish.
Alright, so like I said, we're starting 8th, and we're probably going to get a horrible start off the line. Yep, and just gonna pull over to the side as we get absolutely mugged. Ooh. Going wide. Oh. Missed the corner. We get a 2-second time penalty.
You've been awarded a time penalty for that last incident.
Which I think is kind of harsh. I mean, that really wasn't what I was intending. I wasn't trying to cut the track. I just ran wide. Don't think it's fair to award a penalty for somebody running wide unintentionally. Oh, Lundgaard just absolutely parking it in the apex. By just stopping. We should be able to pull enough of a gap that the 2-second time penalty won't affect us too much. We pass for 6th place. All the way down. Squeeze from going into the first turn.
Nice move. Good job.
Side of PK. Done. He's gonna try to cross over. But we hold him off just barely. We hold on, or we successfully take P5. On Yuki
Great
Tsunoda.
work. That's a new fastest lap of the race.
Who's actually in the lead? I don't even know. Oh, it's Robert Schwartzman, who was Mick Schumacher's teammate. Thought it was Schumacher for a second, but it wasn't. Around the final corner, and Robert Schwartzman is going to win the sprint race in Bahrain. We are going to drop down probably to P6.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
If I had to guess. But we still somehow got driver of the day, which is interesting.
That's a fantastic performance from Prema. It hardly looked in doubt. And Davide Valsecchi, give me your thoughts. How did they accomplish this result?
I think this race was won thanks to the tire management. You have to remember, it's not just about going as fast as you can. It's about consistency. It's about maintaining your speed over an entire race distance. So being able to keep the lap time competitive while still respecting the tires, that's where they won today.
As we look back on a thrilling race here today, we can now see the drivers take their places on the podium. It's a familiar sight by now, as it's another successful F2 win for Prema.
There you go, that was Bahrain.
After this round of the World Championship, here's
So
how
do
things
finish
look in
P6.
the driver's tape. A strong race then for our championship leader. That's extended their advantage at the top of the standings. Now then, Davide Valsecchi, who would you say was your driver of the day?
Well, I'm going to give it to the Campos driver today. That was a commanding performance today. Very impressive indeed.
On to the teams then. Campos moved to the top of the table. It was great having you with us for this weekend. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. We'll see you when Formula 2 returns.
Take a look at the championship standings. We already have a big lead at this point, 14 points ahead of Yuki Tsunoda and Callum Ilott. So there is that. I think with F2 you just advance to the next weekend, which we're not going to do right this moment, because, like I said, I got Dynamite coming up shortly, so won't be necessary. So that was it for the first race. As I go into the item shop, and I'm gonna end up purchasing. Well, actually, I already got that race suit. I just realized that. Yeah, I'm really interested to see the livery roll out, because like this looks cool, but I would probably never drive this. So same goes with this one, but yeah. So thanks for watching this first F1 2021 video, and I'll see you for the next one.